while World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, in partnership with Business and Intellectual Property Authority, BIPA, will be hosting a webinar on the 22nd of September 2021. The webinar is on the benefits of the Hague system for designers. The Hague system for the International Registration of Industrial Designers is an international application and registration procedure for designers. With more details on this, I'm now joined on the line by Onesmus Joseph, who's the Senior Intellectual Property Officer at BIPA. Good morning, Onesmus. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning to you and good morning to the listener.
Onesmus, first, can you just, take us through with, how BIPA facilitates the registration of patents?
All right. Thank you very much. Business and Intellectual Property Authority is a national intellectual property office in the country, mandated to register business registration as well as intellectual property. In terms of intellectual property, we do register trademark, patents, and design. And as far as patents are concerned, we register them in terms of national applications law, or also the regional framework and international framework. Patents in Namibia, they are protected for a duration of 20 years, and the main fact is to say that whoever come up with a new invention or processes that may solve an industrial problem outside there, that particular inventor may be protected for a duration of 20 years to exclude others from using the invention without his or her consent. And the main fact is to say also the inventor should be able to commercialize and deduce benefit from that particular invention.
Thanks so much for that. Onesmus, can you take us through the process of registering a patent?
All right. For you to register a patent, number one, you have to file an application with the office of the registrar, that is BIPA. Your application will actually be examined as to whether you meet the requirements. You need to do a payment. You have to complete all the details as per the form. Also, you have to pay an amount of money in respect of that particular form. That's actually the first examination as far as the patent is concerned. Then the next step in the patent application is what we call the substantive examination for your patent. Your application will be examined as to whether you meet the requirement for patentability for an invention that you're applying for. Number one, the invention that you're applying for should be novel. That means should be new, should not be in existence anywhere else, should be industrial applicable. That means it should be able to solve a problem outside there, a technical or industrial problem. And also it should, your invention should not just be a common one, should not be obvious, should be involved and inventiveness, should be involved creativeness onto this. Once your application is found to meet all the requirements as per the law, then you actually be granted a patent right for a duration of 20 years, of which you should be able to renew every year.
Now, what opportunities does the World Intellectual Property Organization offer when it comes to intellectual property?
All right. World Intellectual Property Organization, in short, WIPO, is actually an intergovernmental organization to which Namibia is a member state. World Intellectual Property Organization promotes the protection and creation of intellectual property across the globe. And it provides various benefits to its member states, of which Namibia is also a member state. Number one, it provides area of cooperation as far as intellectual property is concerned. It will also assist member states in terms of capacity building on how to enhance and improve knowledge of member states as far as intellectual property registration, protection, creation, or enforcement is concerned. It also provides the most fundamental aspect of technical infrastructure as far as the intellectual property systems are concerned. For example, it provides the access to patent protection system, trademark protection system, and industrial design protection system, of which we are talking about the Hague system today.
Onesmus, the Hague design system, first of all, what is that and how does it work?
All right, thanks very much. The Hague system is actually an international system for registrations of trademark, for industrial design. there are certain routes for one to acquire rights on industrial design. The first route is a national application or national route, and also there's a regional route and international route. The international route is a Hague system that allows an applicant to apply for a registration or right on industrial design in multiple countries across the universe by only filing one application, and you may seek protection in various countries. As we all know that the intellectual property rights are territorial. If you only apply in Namibia, then your protection is just within Namibia. But remember, if you are into business and you see that there are markets outside there, you might have a need to protect your intellectual property in different countries. Hence, the Hague system can in fact to say an applicant can apply, file only one application, pay one set of fee, and may seek or designate various countries for his or her industrial design to be protected in that particular foreign countries also.
Now, can you take us through the two-stage application assessment process of the system?
Yes. The Hague system or the application of industrial design, it involves two stages or two examinations. First and foremost, you have to file an application with the nearest office, be it BIPA, and your application will be assessed in terms of formality for you to say you should meet certain formal requirements, such as all the details in the form should be completed. You should indicate who created the design. You should pay an amount that is required. You should also attach a sample or representation of your design. That is the first step that is actually required to be completed. Once you go through that particular step, then your application will now be examined in terms of formality and technicality to see whether the design that you are applying for the rights for is actually new or is it original and it's not in existence or it's not already protected by another person. And those are the two procedures involved in the applications of an industrial design.
Now, WIPO, in partnership with BIPA, will be hosting a webinar titled Benefits of the Hague System for Designers. Looking at that word benefits, what are the benefits, just briefly, of the Hague System for Designers?
All right. Thank you very much. World Intellectual Property Organization, together with BIPA, is going to host a webinar or information sharing session, most particularly for the intellectual property stakeholder as far as industrial design is concerned. The benefit of a Hague system is to say an applicant can only file one application and seek multiple protections in various countries. Number one, there are minimum formalities involved in the particular process, and also an applicant may save a lot of time by only filing one application as opposed to filing individual applications in each member state. There's also a reduction in cost in that regard. And in terms of Hague system, if you have to renew your industrial design after it expires, you actually only have to file one single application in one language, one set of it, and it's kind of like simplified. And this is much benefit to the IP stakeholders, most particularly those who may seek industrial design rights.
Thank you so much for that, Onesmus. Thank you so much for that concise explanation. I hope you have a blessed day ahead.
Sure. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, there you have it. That's Onesmus Joseph, who's the Senior Intellectual Property Officer at BIPA, speaking to us about the benefits, the webinar rather, that will be titled The Benefits of the Hague System for Designers.